Righty, so welcome back. So I haven't put out a video for a wee bit. If you're on my TikTok, you probably know why, but you've had a few issues just recently, mainly with the little Murray. I've got a heap of footage. I'm going to go through and re-edit what I've got to a certain degree, and then obviously I'm doing some other bits and pieces now. I'm still looking for extra work. If you are in my local area and you're watching, if you've got anything, just let me know. Hit me up if you want something done. Just to give you a brief update, the Maury project went south. The body was pretty bad. Just unfortunate circumstances. We sort of got it half stripped down. I sort of sent it away. I'd started doing a couple of repairs on some other panels, and while I was waiting for a couple of weeks, like I'd done a little bit more on the marina, but I was kind of struggling for other stuff to do. I was hoping I was going to have a 65 Impala in here. That turns south too. They, instead of bring it to me, because it was a local car, their son had moved north, about 6 or 7 hours away. I think I've got this in the middle amongst that footage too. Whether I added it in or not, take it out. But anyway, the son moved north. He was working on it. They decided to drag it. He decided to drag it north to work on it. So instead of me working on it, so that sort of threw us half a spanner in the works. So I carried on with fixing other panels, and when the body was blasted, it wasn't beyond repair, but just the cost involved and where it was heading was just not really feasible. So I ended up with a shit fight with the owner. I think we've come to an agreement now. But I've now got to come up with, because a lot of times I wouldn't say working ahead of where I am, but so basically when I get a vehicle and I ask for a part payment to get me going, right? To buy paint, buy products, whatever, and then get me going. And then as I start working and work out what my costs are and whatever, we can work out, and then we work out a balance. And I try to keep slightly in advance as I'm doing stuff. Like at some point, I would like to get past that point where I've got enough money that I can just start a project, and then as we do a couple of weeks work. It's just unfortunate. I've never been able to get there. I've had too many stupid setbacks and just life and the cost of everything. I just haven't managed to grasp it. My health is getting better, so I'm hoping I can work longer as to get to that point. It's been a pain in the fucking ass. It really has. And then we've had a lot of family, I wouldn't say family issues, but my father is very sick, unfortunately. He's got, I think I have covered this, but I think I've left it out of videos, but he's got cancer that grew off his kidney, wrapped around his pelvis. He's having other complications. He's now in hospital at the moment. He got to the point last week where he just couldn't walk because he was in so much pain, and lots of other things going on. So that's been eating at me and dragging me away from here. I wouldn't say regularly, but often enough here and there. There's just impede, and then it's brought my mood down, and I've got to the point sometimes where I've been a bit slack here and just other things, and just things didn't go well. But anyway, so I ended up, we got the car blasted, and then he'd give me like another payment. So, and then I used part of that to do some stuff to pay for some bills and whatever. And then I was thinking, okay, we'll get the car back, we'll hook into it, and I'll do some extra hours and we'll get ourselves back ahead of the game again. But it just turned to shit. So it's just unfortunate. It's just fucking pain in the ass. It's a bit of mismanagement from my side of it. It's just one of those things. It's just nothing quite gelled, and I was trying to do some extra work to get the project ahead, to gain some time back, whatever. I may even had the missus in here stripping some parts down, get some paint off some stuff to crawl back ahead. But just unfortunately, just the body was so bad And I found out later on that they found out that it had been butchered back together in the 90s and or late 90s to be a burnout car, and then somebody slathered a whole freaking heap of underseal underneath it, and then somebody else must have bought it because it nearly turned into a burnout car, and then they put it back on the road. How it got back on the road and actually managed to get it certified, I do not fucking know. The guy must have been blind that certified it. But anyway, yeah, it's just like once we got all the underseal off the inside of it, and then all the other repairs came exposed, we're just like, whoa. It basically needed full floors and everything. Like we've got videos of it, but yeah. So we're now. So it disappeared Monday. I got it back on the Friday. Monday, yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. But it's now Thursday, so yeah, I've had a bit of a shit fight trying to organise this. But yeah, I'm now going to have to try and hustle my ass and get some money, some extra money together to pay this guy back, freaking, X amount of dollars. It doesn't really matter, the figure, but, what I mean? It's just fucking one of those things that just driven me nuts. I just about walked away from it, the whole fucking lot, and just done something else. I don't know. It's just very frustrating. I would say it's definitely not all my fault, but, a fair chunk of it is probably just, I would say, just silly decisions. Just unfortunate other things didn't pan out, which, then I was trying to frickin' scramble for work, and I was like doing extra bits and pieces, which I probably should have just left alone, like doing the doors and the boot lid and stripping other stuff down. Like, really should have, worst comes, what I should have done is when I first got the car, I probably should have stripped it and sent it to sandblasting then, and instead of being done with it. But I ended up doing that Falcon Ute, and I was having those issues with that paint for that yellow thing. So, we're scrambling to get that right. So yeah, the little yellow car's here too, but still, it's hopefully only days away from going away. I'm still waiting on the upholstery and the carpet to turn up, and a couple of little bits and pieces for it to finish putting it back together. But yeah, it's just fucking one of those things. It's just, I've got a couple of little jobs here to do, but yeah, I'm scrambling, trying to find some other stuff. I thought I was going to have a little bumper to paint on a late model car, but I haven't dealt with candy paints before, so it was one of those candy reds, and the paint guy said, yeah, if you haven't done much of that, man, just steer away from it. It'll be one of those things that'll bite you. You're better off just leave it alone. Because I was just going to touch it up. Somebody had scraped the corner of this bumper and whatever. Like if it was just base coat, clear coat, it would have been an easy repair. But he said, yeah, some of those late model candy paints, if you not familiar with them and haven't done them before, and haven't got that super clean environment like a booth, he said it can turn into a bit of a nightmare. If you don't get it right, you got to go right back to start again. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But so yeah, I'm just trying to fucking get myself fucking ahead again. It's fucking pain in the ass. I'm getting really over it, and just with the stresses of everything else going on. But anyway, we'll get back into here, and then I'll get back into this, and then you'll jump back in time and we'll show some of the bits and pieces that we were doing. But yeah, pain in the ass. I don't really know what to do with some of the footage. It's just like, it's so fucking frustrating. It's just one of those things. But what do? You think you're trying to make progress, and no, ends up biting you in the ass. So yeah, that's the other thing too I'm going to do from now on. If anybody's got a major project, I'm basically going to say, look, you either strip it and get it blasted and then bring it to me, so we don't have this fucking hassle anymore, or you bring it to me basically, no motor, no gearbox, fucking, very little else on it, take a lot of that shit off, keep it where you're at, and then we can do maybe the final little pull down and get it to the blasters and whatever. But yeah, it's a hassle, That's the other thing too. I don't have a lot of room here. Like, I can't have so many cars here in that sort of stage, if you know what I mean, because you got to keep moving forward. So it can be awkward, but you sort of think, fucking while I'm waiting a couple of weeks, for the weather to settle down so you can blast it, and not having to move it, frickin' in bare metal and all that sort of bullshit and whatever, and you're just trying to waiting on the weather to fucking come right to get that decent opportunity and window and other things, and yeah, it's just fucking just turned into a disaster, unfortunately. Anyway, I'll carry on with what I'm doing here, and we'll see you in a wee while. Right, we're getting close. So we just need to flatten it out a couple more places just to get it to sit flat instead of being buckled and bowed a little bit. And we'll just double check that curve and make sure we're right, and then we can probably just about start splitting the difference between the two. Whether we go right up to here or not, I don't know. Probably what I'll do is I might cut just down here, just above this shit first, and then decide whether I want to pull it up any further or not, just to, I don't know. I probably don't need to, if you know what I mean. But I've got, obviously, basically right out to here to make up my mind whether I want to cut up further. Yeah, it depends on what the back of it looks like too, I suppose. No, it's never that simple. That's alright, it's not major, but, some in a brace piece that's rotted. And also, there's a couple of spots in the, it's not too bad down here, we'll have to clean it up, but it's a bit rotten in there, so we'll have to have a decent look across this bottom. But yeah, we'll have to repair that. Put a patch in here, clean all that up. Whatever, I have to get this off, get the rest of this lip off. Right, welcome back again. So, I think the first task for Monday, we'll get these door hinges off, and then hopefully shortly, once Mrs. dropped the young file off, she's going to be back here, and I'll get her to finish the bonnet off, hood off, and then I'll get her to tear into that door, get the paint off the outside of that, so we can see what's going on in there, and I'll carry on with that, and then I probably will jump over to this for a wee while and get that stripped out, so she can carry on stripping that, and then probably whip the headlights out of those guards, and then the bits off the tail lights. Right, so we got them off. The worst bit is trying to get fucking back in there to cool it down, so they'll come free, get that good hot shock to cold. You know, when you're trying to gradually cool them down, sometimes it obviously doesn't shock them free. The very last one actually come free without having to do anything. Must have been just all the heat in there, just must have been enough to free it up. So now we will get the remainder of this bottom skin off. We'll probably have to pull this rubber seal rail off or something. So we've got some holes here to fix here, which is part of that hole that's through on the inside. But we've got some of the paint started to get off. But yeah, we'll get the rest of the skin off, and at least then we can get this all cleaned up and dollied up and whatever, and fix these couple bits, and go from there, I guess. I finally got all the excess shit off, and I've discovered that doing that, this fucking bottom panel's hardly even attached. Don't know if you can see that. It's just frickin' hanging in there. So I might actually, is that joint down there? I might actually take that piece off, because it's rotten in a couple of places anyway. So we might see if we can find it where the spot welds are there and down here, and pop this bottom piece off, and then that'll give us a better access to the shit inside, I think. And if I have to remake that, it's not a biggie. Well, just end up with a better result, if you know what I mean. Right. Oh, we got the worst that did knock it out of here. Right. That's why I just sprayed that etch on there, and then just let it dry, and then just knocked it back off, just so I could get a bit more of an idea of where we were. So I'll just try and hammer and dial it down a bit more, just see if I can get some of these highs and lows a bit better. Yeah, even up from here needs a bit of work, but just what I can get into easily. Like, at least now it's not going to have a big massive hunk of frickin' body filler in it. Right, God, I thought I was recording these just before. But anyway, so we've sprayed some convert in here. We've cleaned that up. I've sprayed another lot of etch in it, so we'll knock that down shortly. We'll just run over it when it's dried a bit better, just to get rid of any other last little marks. We've got it pretty good, but we'll just, if there's anything else there that looks like it needs that can come around a little bit more. I'm not going to get too fussy, because we're going to have to put body filler on it anyway. So we've treated all that in the meantime, and we'll maybe do a little more hammer and dolly work on that. So what I need to do now is start making this piece again. Well, I could just repair it, but I think it's just as easy to, by the time I freaking get that panel, that piece off and screw around with that and whatever and fix this, it's like it's just as easy fucking make a new piece. That's better. So yeah, back the angle off a bit. I just pulled that down. It probably needs a little bit more of a hammer and dolly around, but whatever. So I think we're definitely closer here. This should fit there better. There it does. It's better. That's cool. It was too high before. So I think what I'll do is I'll clamp this up and we'll get it in the right position. I'm going to have to sneak a little bit off this, but that's no biggie. Not too worried about that at the moment. We'll just get this back in position. There, I'll get it clamped up. See where we're at for this fitting that and the rest of it. I think I'm pretty happy with it. But we'll get it clamped up, and we might have a wee sweep up on the floor here. And then we will start making... Get that out of the road. We'll start making this piece. So yeah, we'll do that. Right. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that fits. I would just like to maybe shrink that edge just a little bit more, where it's high here, just to see if I can get that to flatten off just a little bit more. I keep shrinking it across the edge, but I've got to be careful I don't start bowing the whole piece. Yeah, because I think once I've cut it and joined it, like I can bring this up to meet it and whatever, but I think I need to pull a little bit more out of this, just so it's a bit flatter, yet still to meet up with the other one. Maybe I could hammer it down into here a little bit more just to bring that down a little bit further too, but we're getting pretty close. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I'll just do a little bit more shrinking and just a little bit more hammer dolly work just to smooth that out. Maybe even just run it through the English wheel a couple of times once I've shrunk it a wee bit more. Just along that edge, just to help planish it out and get that to sort of flatter. But yeah, I think what we'll do now is get some measurements for this, and we'll make up a bit to join that back together. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy there. The only thing I'm a bit fucking pissed off about is I must have, I don't know, it's when I've hammered this in, it's crept along this way. So I'm really shy on that frickin' folded edge now, which is a bit of a pain. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do there. Righty, So I'm pretty happy with that. I might just have to add a little bit of freaking metal in down here to make this work, or just build it up. So I actually think with a wee bit of clean up there now, I can actually probably tack that on and weld that in, and then obviously just sort this out. Like I'll pull this panel back off once I get it tacked in, and probably spot it onto here so it can't droop down. Yeah, so I can't droop down. I'll hammer this around a little bit, and yeah, then we can weld it across there, and then I can fill this and whatever blend and give it a quick wee blend up, and then we can probably fit this panel. Right, so we've got that tacked in. I just pulled all the other pieces out so I can get in here and we can weld that up. We have to put a little bit of filler in there. That's fine. I just didn't quite have enough material. I didn't think it was worth warranting freaking remaking it. We'll get a couple of little slithers and we'll just add into there anyway. Doesn't need to be down on this piece, just we'll add a little piece down there or whatever and just fill that up. And we'll weld that up, and then we can get in there, we can tie that up both sides roughly. It doesn't have to be dead perfect, but at least we can get in there and we can grind that off, clean that up. We can blow some weld through in all the places it needs to be, blow some weld through on that, and then we can start welding all that in as well after lunch. Right, so we just got this rubber from the UK. It just turned up my house right on lunchtime, which is freaking perfect. Instrument to cut it open.
I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Alright, so since I started putting this windscreen in, with the rubber and everything, or maybe since I was filming, it's been an hour and a half. So when we're trying to put the rubber around, then put the string around, and then getting in, so yeah, I don't know how long I've spent trying to get this frickin' lock frickin' strip in. That's a pain in the frickin' ass. I haven't quite got the right tools here for doing it, but we'll get it in. Yeah, it's just a pain in the ass, especially when you're trying to reach into the centre. So that's why I sort of started to come down that side, and then we'll eventually work our way across, and then I'll trim this when I'm getting close to the corner, when I know exactly what I need. And then that'll do the back rubber as well. Yeah, also I haven't done any more of that because the rubber turned up for that. I thought we might as well get it in. Since Mrs. was here around to give me a hand. Oh well, I was hoping to get that all the way in, but fuck off, my hands are freaking sore from trying to get that in. So I'm to here, so to come around to here and up to here, and then trim it off. When I get to this corner, I'll work out roughly what I need and trim it off, because then I'll have a better idea. You know, I can cut it a bit long anyway for a start until I get, you know, up sort of close, and then we'll know exactly where we need to cut it. But man, that's painful. It's just so tight. The rubber probably could have been probably half an inch shorter in a couple of places, or maybe not that much, but across the screen it really probably could have been a little bit shorter. It was, I wouldn't say loose, but it was borderline sloppy. It could have been a wee bit tighter on the glass trying to put it on. It was a little loose, but it's better than frickin' trying to deal with that other stuff anyway. Trying to glue it all together. Like the back one won't be so bad. Like it's actually not sitting too bad in these corners, but it's still not. There's a gap there, you know what I mean? And it doesn't sit that good in the corners. But it's better than what it was. I guess it'll sit down eventually. Or whatever, you know, it'll slowly jiggle itself into place, but at least it's in there now. Like this one should be, I wouldn't say it'll be easier, but should be definitely easier to get around the corners. Yeah, from memory, it's been a long time since I put a brand new screen or brand new rubber around. A lot of the time, you know, just been me now to use the old rubber, you know, back in the day. It's been a long time since I put a new windscreen rubber and the gasket and strip, but I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, I think there's like a proper V tool that Dad used to have at the what do you want to call it, at the auto parts place that he used to have years ago. I'm pretty sure there was like a V tool that we used to use to help put that sort of stuff in. I think it's been so freaking long I can't remember, but I have put plenty of it back in, even in more recent times. But it's been a while since I've tried to fight with a freaking brand new gasket. That definitely makes it tougher because it's never been together, you know, and it's never been squashed up and whatever. Normally when you've had them out and then you put, you know, even if you do put a new insert in but use the old rubber, they're normally easy to use because it's been forced out for a while. They normally slip in quite a bit easier. But the new ones can be a battle if you don't quite have the right gear. But we'll get there. It's just a pain in the ass, but anyway. I've had enough. Alright, I'll see you in the morning and hopefully we'll get that done and we'll get that door done. And we'll call that video there. I might have to re-edit it a little bit. It's getting a bit long. Alright, morning troops. So I decided to try and make one of those tools so I can put the piece of chrome insert through that, but only just. So, and I just gave it it's just a bit of high tensile fencing wire. So it's got quite a bit of stiffness. And then I just run it over the buffing wheel, over my rotary buffing wheel for buffing up metal. So it's just to make it shiny and a bit more slippery. And obviously we'll dip it in a bit of dishwash, and hopefully I can push the rest of the rubber in without fighting with the bastards. So at least we can get the back one in as well, hopefully later today or tomorrow or whatever, once we've got it all glued up. So I'll throw you up here and we'll see how we get on here.
From creation, and when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Right, I finally got that in. I ended up, because I was trying to come back from this side, every time I got to about the windscreen washer, nozzle, squirter, what do you want to call it, in that direction, I just, for some reason, it just kept popping out. That tool kept popping out, going that way. And because I was hoping to have another set of hands here this morning, she'll turn up shortly, I bet you. You know, every time I get to there, if I was trying to hold it and then get to the other side, by the time I got to the other side, for some reason, it just didn't matter where I managed to stop in amongst sort of that point, it would pop out before I could get around there. It wouldn't hold. So I thought, screw it. So I tried it from the other direction and come back around across, and I got to here, and it just seemed to hold better in this. Obviously, the position of the screen was just better, and it would hold in there, and then I could get back around here and then finish pulling it around. And then I ended up having to trim about that much off it. I was hoping to get that a little bit better in the corners, but it is what it is. Can't do much about it now. But it's in there, so at least we can clean that up, and then I'll just have to go around the inside, bit of rubber, and just make sure it is all pulled out properly. It is reasonably well, but just make sure everything's sitting in properly and whatever. But I'll grab that other windscreen now. I'll bring it over there. I think I'm going to put a bit of, see if I can find a bit of board to put underneath part of it so I can cut the rubber, so we can get that rubber to the right length. And see if I can get a sharp blade somewhere. I think I should have a couple of new blades somewhere. And we'll get that rubber to length and we can glue that together. Yeah, I don't know where the missus is, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Alright, I got that ready to glue. So I just need to get it lined up a little bit better. I thought I had a couple of tubes of glue here, but super glue. But what I'll do is I'll end up clamping it probably here and here just to get it a bit flatter. Which I'll organise these two clamps now. I'm not thinking about it. Down there on the ground. And then, yeah, I might have to, I thought I had a couple extra tubes here, but it might have been at home. So I'll go grab them. I didn't bring it here because I thought I had some here. And then what I'll do is I'll just clean the ends with a bit of brake clean. Make sure they're nice and clean. Even though I got them trimmed off and everything, but we'll give them a nice wee clean, give them a wee blow down with some mirror, make sure they are nice and clean, and then we'll put our dab of super glue on there, and we'll hold them together, and then we'll just gently put a couple of clamps in just to hold everything straight and square, hopefully. So I'll just might move this a wee bit closer to the edge and just we'll get a decent straight line, so when we got it all clamped in there, and then we'll just leave it alone for, I don't know, for a while. We'll let it glue up properly. Apparently windscreen rubbers don't work well when you get a twist in them. So, start it again. Unfortunately, like it's not that strong a bond. I don't know, it's just like cheaper super glue. So yeah, I just re-glued it. Hopefully it'll, just set up enough that once you got it in and then get it in the frame, it's like it holds together, and then I don't think it'll be an issue after that. Righty, so just grabbed the missus down here to give me a hand to put the back screen in. Definitely a lot easier with my, what do I do with that? Okay, I'm with my little tool made this morning, putting the windscreen rubber. So if you ever want to do one of these sorts of things, when you get your insert, if you've got like a little, if you know you got plenty, just cut like a short piece off, doesn't have to be very long, and then make out of a piece of, this is like sort of high tensile fencing wire, just make a shape up so that'll slide through, so when you pop this in the rubber you can push it through. It's a prick still, but you can go through, and then basically you just push it along and then just keep pushing the rubber down and behind it. Right, just try and show you here if I can. So you get this into your channel like that. Still a bit awkward because it wants to move, but then you come along with this, you poke that through, sort of up as far as you can get it up to wherever you say your corner is or whatever, or wherever you're starting, and then you just wiggle this along and just keep feeding this in. Even like a bit of dish soap or something like that can make life a bit easier too, especially in the tight areas where you're going around tight corners and shit like that. Well, this is quite easy on a flat bench. But you kind of get the idea, if you know what I mean. You just keep going like that until you get it in. It takes some concentration. Like try not to have too many distractions around you or things that are breaking your concentration, because it's so easy for you to get this unhooked or pop it out or whatever, if you know what I mean. It's already dry. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. So yeah, just a bit of whole tensile wire, an old screwdriver that I broke, yeah, and just get a nice V in it, and then I actually bent this on the folder, just gently, you know, just kinked it, and then squeezed it up in the vise until I could just slip this through it. Like it only just fits through. Where are we? So that only fits through and no more, if you know, like there's basically no wiggle room, you know, left and right. Okay. Just focus, come on. There's hardly any room at all for movement. Like you want a little bit of up and down, so it can slide up and down, but you can't have it go up too far. You know what I mean? So so you can get it through, but barely, if you know what I mean. Wants that to slip free, but yeah, that's all you need. You know what I mean? It's got to be such a minuscule, otherwise it's too wide. It'll just keep popping out all the time. You can't have like you can't have like half a mil or a mil gap each side or 2 mil gap each side. It's too loose. It's got to be basically just enough slip through. You know, probably in 1/4 mil total sort of type thing, so you can just wiggle it through. But you want to be able to do that, you know, for a reasonable distance, so you got to be able to play with. Otherwise, it gets jammed up and locked if you come up too far. If you know what I mean. But simple enough to make. Righty, so where are we at? So I've gone around and buffed this thing. I still need to give the bumpers a bit more of a polish up. I need to go get some metal polish. I still haven't got around to that. I was trying to see if I could find some of those. We can get the stilo pads here, but they don't have the fucking. They used to have like the zeros on them for whatever grade they were. They don't seem to have that in here anymore, so I don't know what grade they are, and I don't want to get grab one and they're the coarse ones and they scratch the shit out of the chrome, because like there is a little bit of rust and shit on them. But if I just get some metal polish and then just run over it, just give them a good buff, you know, rub over, that'll brighten them up. They're not too bad. They're sort of, I run over them a little bit with the buff, but so I blacked out the tow bar again and try to clean the other side, so it didn't look quite so obvious. Like once it's been driven down the road and got a bit of dirt and shit, like you're not going to see the major colour difference underneath there. But you know, it's not too bad. It's buffed up. It's reasonably well. Unfortunately, where I puffed a couple bits of paint into some of the deeper scratches on the side, you can kind of notice it a little bit. But it depends on what side of the car you're standing on and where the sunlight is. It's like it is what it is. Like there's a little bit of a colour change in that door again because I didn't blend it out as good as I did the other side. I should have flicked it further through, but it's not that bad. Like the colour difference isn't huge, but it looks right. You know, by the time I get the grill back in it and whatever like that, I'm just leaving it out in the meantime until I've finished cleaning all this shit up, and then I'll put the grill back in. We'll give the inside of it a proper clean, get the carpets out of it. I haven't done that yet because I've got to pull the seat belts and shit like that, but we'll give it get all that crap out of it, give it a vacuum out, we'll give everything a good wipe down. I've got to put the glove box back together because I was trying to get into that wiper pivot, but I managed to get it up. So yeah, and then it needs like another good wipe down, and then I'll wax it. You know, as long as I'm reasonably happy, you know, we'll wax it up. You know, it's still got a few dents in the back guard, so I can't do anything about it. Like, you know, how far do I go to fix it? Like, it's a 10 grand, you know, tidy up, freshen up. We changed the oil in the motor gearbox diff, changed the filter in the trans, changed the filter in the engine, you know, checked over everything, threw a battery, put tyres on it. You know, we put new windscreen rubbers in it. It's getting new upholstery, well, new seat upholstery, you know, and we've fixed the rust and we've tidied everything else up within reason. You know, you can't, like if I go any further, it's basically, you know, scuff it back. Frickin', I actually noticed it here in the door, like it's obviously got a bit of body filler or something in it. I didn't get into here, but it's got a bit of a body filler and a funny mark there, so at some stage somebody's had that in there, but I just scuffed it and blew the paint into there, if you know what I mean. Like I blew the paint probably, I don't know, 2/3 of the way across and just flicked it right into, sort of across that middle section, like I sort of come across, and then the same with this front door, probably blew it into probably, I don't know, half to a third, and then like really flicked it out through there, so like it was sort of getting flicked from both directions. So it's basically no paint in the centre, but there will be, but you know what I mean. So it blended heaps better on the side. I should have done the same on the other side, but it didn't. But yeah, you know, it's not that bad. Like that's the old paint, that's the new paint, you know, below the line. So it's not that noticeable. Like it needs another good wipe down and whatever, and then we'll wax it and whatever. But like, how much of this shit do you fix? You know, you end up pulling bumpers off, and then you end up doing that and whatever, and then you know, oh, it's got a dent here and a dent there and whatever, and you know, it's like, you know, how far do you go? Like I've got a, you know, I didn't really touch the side at all, but it's actually got quite a few marks in that back guard, like from shit from the inside. There's quite a few dents and marks and shit in there, but like, you know, do I start fixing that then? You know, like how far do you go? Like we resprayed the boot lid, like we stripped that right back to bare metal, resprayed that, like it's nice and tight again. It hasn't got all the dents and ugly shit in it. I just flicked some stuff in here, and oh fuck, it's got a bit of water in there. Here should be right. I just flicked some shit in there to seal that up. Where we've done repairs, well, not so much of that side repairs, but I did both sides. Fuck, it's got fucking more water in there than I thought there would have been, but anyway, that's right. It's water based anyway. Should be right. It'll dry eventually. We can always blow another coat in later on when it's dried out a bit. Yeah, you know, like how many dents and things do you fix? You know, it's got a funny bulge here, but it's probably got a bit of rust in here. It's got a funny bulge in it. You know, do you start fixing that too? You know, again, it's a clean up, tidy up, fix the worst. You know, fix the rust, blend it in. You know, it's a clean little tidy car again. You know, for somebody to drive around. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on the beauty rings and stuff like that, because they are a little bit dented, like they're all aluminium or aluminum. We'll give the centre caps a polish up. We'll put them back on. I'll have to double check the wheel nuts, make sure they're torqued. But yeah, like, you know, and I've got the little badge stuff coming now. So once that's here, I can put them in. Now, it's just little bits and pieces. There's probably, I don't know, an hour or two fluffing around, putting the carpets and the seats in. And whenever that arrives, so when I was talking to the guy, because I had to frickin' order those bungs, and I actually ordered another one of these, hopefully, because I went to pull that one out and I broke it. Yeah, and he said they're waiting on the material. He said it's due here any day for the carpets. They didn't have enough to, by the time they must have cut a few carpets out, they run out when they were doing this one. They had like another 2 or 3 orders, so they were waiting on the next lot of colour to come in, like, 'cause it was like that chocolatey brown, so it's quite common with a lot of this sort of stuff. He said it's one of the more popular sort of colours. So yeah, they said they were waiting on. They said it was meant to be here early this week. So once that's here, they'll get their carpets cut and sent out. So yeah, that's what the hold up was in that. Because yes, I said to him, I'm still waiting on those carpets. But while I'm on the phone, I want those and those and that and whatever else. And he goes, oh yeah, no, we've been waiting on frickin' carpet to turn up. They make them to order, if you know what I mean. But yeah, they said they'd made quite a few sets in that colour, not for that particular car, but that particular colour. And yeah, they just hadn't they'd run out. They had about 4 or 5 lots of carpets to cut. Like that they had already had pre-ordered, if you know what I mean. Yeah, they said that in the chocolate brown and the black, and I think was the dark grey was the most common, and then like red and shit like that. So, which is understandable. So yeah, it's just, he said yeah, they were waiting for that, like about, I don't know, about 6 or 7 rolls of different colours coming, like for extra backup. But yeah, they'd run out of the brown when they were cutting like a whole heap of stuff out of patterns. So yeah, that should be here hopefully next week, and then it'll be about here about the same time as the seats. Hopefully be ready to go. Like when I was talking to them last, which I think is probably 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was now, they said it was only going to be 2 or 3, about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So I'm expecting them sort of next week, and I think the carpets will probably turn up then too, hopefully. But yeah, like that gives me a chance to get that all cleaned out. But I'll leave that alone now. We'll just let that dry, and I'll give it a wipe down and whatever, and then we'll give it another clean off and whatever. Give it a wipe down, and then we'll hook into it with the wax and give it a good wax up, as long as I'm happy. But yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook into that and get that buttoned up, because I'm also half pie expecting a phone call for the body, and I've got to remember frickin', which I'll probably wait till I get it back here, get the body back here, and I'll just throw it on, what am I going to do? We'll work it out. I frickin' meant to yesterday grab some frickin', I don't know, 6 metres of this. Yeah, that would do. 6 metres of this would do, and then I can make up a frame to sit that on the ground and put some screw those wheels off that little frickin' chair onto it, because I don't really use it. It's almost too low. I need to get one of those proper stools. I was just trying to frickin' use some crap that I had here, because I quite like that little seat. I might make it taller or something eventually. But yeah, so it's a little bit taller to weld and shit, but eventually, I think if we get a 2-post hoist, we'll either put it over there or there. I'm not sure. Very spiffy. Yeah. Right. She's bad. Real bad. Fucking yawn. Where I want it to anyway. Not good. Righty, so welcome back to the nightmare. So, this has not gone down well, unfortunately. So really, unfortunately, this thing is just absolute toast. Like it really needs the chassis rails replaced, because over here you wouldn't get away with patching it. You'd have to replace this. Like in places it's not too bad, but it's had so many frickin' bodgy patches. It's had so many bodgy patches. You're almost into the realm of maybe not full flaws, but almost, because it's rotten through here. You know, this is all junk. It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of patches it's had in it. Like some of this you could see, and some of it you couldn't, because it was hidden. You know, like you get stuff like this everywhere. You know, all these just stupid patches just put into everywhere, and it's a big job to go through and try and fix it. Like you really got to just about do a full floor pan in this thing, and then all this, and then you've got to pull all this off, and all this, like the bottoms of the posts are all rotted out. You know, even up into, not too bad up here. Like the wee arches are kind of solid, I guess. But like there's rot. Is it rot? Oh no, it's not rot, but it looked like it might have been. It might be in places. Yeah, there's a few holes in there. Some of this is like all the under seal, because they just couldn't get it all off. They said to get it all off cleanly, they said they would have been there for another 2 or 3 hours, you know, trying to get it all fucking cleaned off, because they said it was just so thick. You know, all this is all junk. It's all like this all needs replaced. You know, and then you're getting into repairs into this as well. You're just going to be endlessly just pulling panels off, like where it's all been, you know, cut off and butchered up, and you know, bits added in, and it's just, the car's junk, unfortunately, and it hasn't gone down very well. But you know, like fuck, I couldn't, like some of this you could see, but there's other stuff that you just couldn't, you know, and it's just as bad on this side, if not worse. So what do you do, you know? Like you can only see so much until you get all the shit off, you know. And then there's like holes. There's not that many. Like there's a couple of holes up in the roof and bits and pieces like that. And I don't know, just never ending. You know. There's a few holes up here. There's a couple of holes over there. Like the roof panels, that's not that bad, but yeah, it's like where do you start? Where do you stop? You know, you can see all the like that. All's got to be redone. And the biggest problem, it's so bad. It's like you'd have to get engineering done on it because it's so got to have so much metal replaced. It would have to be all engineered now. It's beyond just a few simple repairs, if you know what I mean. So it's got to be fully engineered, which sucks. Yeah, so it just doesn't make it worth it. And yeah, I can understand where the guy's coming from, but I can see it's going to be a shit fight just for how much fucking money he wants back and all that sort of bullshit. So yeah, this will hopefully be gone after lunch, but yeah, just got to sort out a bit of stuff, and I want to clean up the inside of that and get a few things sorted. Alright, morning everybody. So, back here again, I've got a fucking weird stiff neck, so if I look a bit weird, I'm turning a bit weird, that's why. I've fucking been like that for a couple of days. So here yesterday, I'll turn the video around, hold on. So yesterday, we found when we were cleaning the carpet out of this thing, found a rust hole in here. Yeah, in here, and one up here, and there was a couple of little holes and bits and pieces. So I cut that out, and we just blended a little patch in there. Hopefully it's not too bad. So I want to give that a little scuff, and then mix up a wee bit of yellow. I'm going to give this a decent clean in here, and just dust some yellow in there, just so it's not too bad. There's probably not a lot I can do about it. There's a freaking bit of right up in here too. It really, these are kind of a thing because they can't. If you could take the guard off, I would probably dig into it deeper, but it's kind of fucking a pain in the ass. I'm hoping that's, you know, not too bad, but we missed it, and then there was like a freaking couple of, you could see there was like a bit of a spot there. I just hadn't seen it. I wasn't really poking in the doorpost, if you know what I mean, so much. But yeah, I don't know. It is one of those freaking things. These are just a bitch of a thing because it's welded fucking on. It'd be different if you pull the guard off, you get in there and clean it up properly and have a decent frickin' look, but I'm just trying to get it through the next couple of frickin' warrants, and then, you know, it is what it is, sort of type of thing. It's just like, you can only do so much within the budget and whatever, like, you know, it is, I wouldn't say breaking out in other places, but there is other spots where, you know, it'll come out eventually. It's just, you'd be forever chasing it with one of these little things, and because you can't get panels off properly, well, especially front end stuff, because you can't strip it all back down to sort of a naked sort of frame, it's very hard to get in and treat. So we'll give this a wee sand, and we'll do that, and then after we've dusted a little bit of paint in there, which shouldn't take too long to do this morning, I've got another little project to do. So we've actually got those running boards to finish, which I've been started ages ago now. So we've got some bits made up for them somewhere, wherever I put those little brackets, doesn't matter, but wherever they are, here in that box. So we've got all these to put on. These for these running boards, which are for that 24 Dodge. I've actually got a video half in the works for these, and then we've was talking to a friend of Dad's last night. Dad was telling me about it the other day, and he's guys in the middle of doing up I don't know, it's like a 30s, I think, Bedford truck. So the running boards are shot. He wants some running boards made up. These are like mostly patched and played around with and had all sorts of shit done to them over the years. Obviously, you know, they've been joined in and whatever. Not 100% sure. So we're going to make some running boards for these. So these have probably been made out of 2 or 3 different ones at different stage, if you know what I mean. So we're going to remake these nicely. And obviously some of the stuff we'll have to work out. So we'll get them sort of partly made. And then we'll have to go and probably set them on the chassis, I guess, and see where we're at. And I think this is part of, I'm not 100% sure, might be part of the lower cab, I'm thinking. So I'm going to have to, he's had to go out making this. But yeah, so basically I think what I think I'll do is, just having a wee look. This should be pretty easy. Well, I think what I'll do is I'll just cut, or make a new piece about that big. Yeah, down. It's been patched a little bit in this corner, so I think what we'll do is we'll make a section about this deep. We'll bend our little edge over and we'll just shape it until we get it to fit the right shape, and then we'll just cut it and weld it and put it back on, and we might clean this up a little bit better and run it through the English wheel a little bit just to smooth it out, and then he can finish the rest off, if you know what I mean. So we'll do that, and then this one here, it needs a couple patches. It needs a few patches, and it really needs that top piece replaced through there for that back window. And also we'll have a bit more of a look around it. Like it's got a few little rusty spots. We'll just have to assess and see what's what, because like it does have like the little be like their little bout line joiner and all sorts of bits. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen it complete, but it's guys in the middle of doing it. He's actually redone a lot of his own stuff before, but he said just some of these bits he hasn't quite got the tooling to make, if you know what I mean. So yeah, just to be interesting to try and see if we can get that roll right on a couple of bits of piece, but it shouldn't be too bad. Alrighty, so we got some paint in there, so that looks better. Half tempted to take it for a drive down the gravel track just to get a bit of dust in there while it's still half sticky, but we won't do that. But tempting. But I just really dusted it in there with just low pressure to try and keep a bit of that out of the dirt and shitting around it, and just to sort of blend it through. But yeah, once it's been driven down the road a couple of times and whatever, it'll get a bit of dirt and shit in there, especially on this gravel track. So, and then out of here, so by the time I take it for a couple of drives and whatever, that'll just help throw a bit of dirt up in there, and yeah, it won't be quite so noticeable that it's got a bit of fresh paint in there. So that'll help hide that I've done some work in there. It's not the best. Unfortunately, I haven't got this very good, but it kind of is what it is. It just, there was an awkward little shit of a spot to get in there and cut stuff out of, and especially when you can't take that off. If you could have taken that off, I could have done probably a little bit nicer job, but that's all right. That's all right. By the time it's got a bit of dirt and shit in there and frickin' whatever, hopefully people won't be poking too hard. And with a little bit of paint that I left, when I done that, sprayed a bit of texture coat in the other day. I just coloured it up a little bit, because I sprayed some texture coat down the bottom to help just cover back in where I'd done the repairs. Not so much on that side, but that had a bit of shit in there because I'd sprayed a bit of rust convert down in there when I sort of gave it a bit of a clean up, and then flicked some of that undercoating in here, and I did the same in here because we'd done the repair down in there. So I just flicked a bit of yellow back over it again. Just didn't go crazy because I didn't have a lot in the gun, but I just sort of was thinking about shit, I'll flick a bit of colour in there while I'm doing it, so just to give it a wee bit of extra colour. So we'll leave that alone. So we'll dive over here. Where's my tripod over there? Grab my tripod. We'll clean this shit up later. Well, shortly, but later. So, I think we will start with this bit. So grab what I've got left, a bit of 1 mil moment until another bits turn up. So I've got a couple of scraps here. This is what I've got left at the moment. So this here will do this. So I probably don't need all that. I'm thinking We don't probably need to cut much. I might just cut it, I don't know. I might just split this in half probably, whether we measure up. We'll just trim it down a little bit. We'll just add a little bit further than what he's done. We'll just get it out of this dent and whatever. I probably could just shrink this, but I don't think there's enough material in it. It hasn't got enough, like, this is like too small, it's too short. And what I consider towel. So I'll shape a piece up and we'll get it to this curve where it's meant to be. And when we're getting close, we'll trim this off and clean it up and wet it on.
So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
Right, so we're getting there now. So earlier on when I first tacked that on, I had to stretch this bottom area. Because I'd shrunk this to curve it, it would bowed out, unfortunately. So yeah, I've had to go around and just do quite a bit of shaping in here, just very subtly. It's probably even still a little bit flat, but I should be able to dolly it around by now. Even just running it in the, when we get it welded and cleaned up, and might be even just run it in the English wheel a little bit and just put a bit of stretch in here with even just on a flat roll, just put a bit of pressure on it and just stretch this, well, not so much stretch it, but, stretch this part of it into here a little bit better. But it's pretty good now. It's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's damn sight better than it was. And our measurements are still right, so. But yeah, like I've got, I don't know, what I've got about 2.5 hours in this now. And it's barely 2.5, yeah. 2.5, borderline 3. People, I'm having that argument with that guy. Unfortunately, it's just like, oh, gee, you haven't, so I've had 2 guys look over it and blah, 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 and reckon you've only spent this much time on it, and you don't know what the fuck I've done to it. Had to do to frickin' knock dents and shit out of it. Like, back now. Were you standing here beside me frickin' when I was doing it? Like, I know everybody can see, but like, you can't see the dents and the damage that I took out, you know what I mean? Per se, what did I had to do to frickin' knock dents out of shit to frickin' before I could even start? Some things, like fixing doors and whatever. Like, like there is obviously a certain degree, but Jesus, I'd like to get a couple of these just to line up a little bit better. Not bad. Yeah, one there just needs a wee bit of tapping around. But again, it's not going to matter too much. We smear filler. It's pretty bound to have a wee smear filler and a few coats of fucking eye build on it by the time this car's finished. So, but yeah, I think we're doing alright there. I'll just double check measurements again, just make sure we haven't moved anywhere. But yeah, so it's slightly tapered. Obviously, it's 646, 651, and then 600 and I think 53, 54 ish around there when I was having a quick measure, rough measure up for just to make sure that we hadn't moved. I'm not entirely sure this is the right radius because I don't know if this is the right radius, but we can't be far away. It can be stretched or shrunk here to whatever it needs, I guess. If we can. Unfortunately, the cab is not probably together far enough to determine that whether it's 100% right or wrong, but it'll be close and it can be tweaked afterwards. I'm guessing it may be a little tight through here. It may be a little tight. I'm guessing this is the bottom corner, but I don't know how much. I might just straighten this out a little bit here, but yeah, who knows exactly what's going on there. Anyway, I'm going to have a break for 5 and then we'll weld that up and clean that up, and yeah. Right, just about there. There's a little bit there. I should have done one side, and yeah, no, I'm just doing the other, and then we'll give it a grind up and clean up after lunch. It's just getting close enough to lunchtime. We'll leave it alone, and then we'll come back and we'll just fill these last few bits and pieces and grind it up and clean it up, and then we'll do both sides and we'll run it through the English wheel a little bit. And we'll trim stuff up and whatever, and so yeah, and that'll be good. And I'll probably do is I'll run over the whole thing with some Scotch-Brite, and I'll flick some etch on it, even just rattle can etch, just to protect it a bit. We'll treat it for a bit of rust or whatever. At least then it's ready prepped for him to go to the next stage. Right, so that's basically the finished article there. You can see where I welded it. It's not perfect. Like I said, it's not going to matter much. It needs obviously dressed up. It needs double check fitted for the curve and all that sort of bullshit. When obviously the guy gets a wee bit further on with his project, but it's repaired. Whatever, I'll probably might just fill a couple of wee holes here. I see. We're not finished with that stuff. I need to weld that corner better. I actually thought I'd broken down that better than that, but obviously not. So we'll clean up those couple of little bits and pieces. I ran it through the English wheel. There was a few little ripples and dents and stuff down here. They would just run it through the English wheel that way, and that way through there just with the flat roller. Just smooth anything out. Run it through here a few times, ground it down a little bit further. Knock the welds down a bit further on the back, and then run it through again. So yeah, like ideally a planishing hammer would have been really good for doing that. You know, we've got a couple of pinholes we might catch up a bit further yet. But yeah, that's basically done. So yeah, we'll start on the other one, and then we'll do a final little dress up and bits and pieces on stuff when we've got them all finished and deliver them back. Right, so this is the plan so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece away from here, this little triangle, that, and somewhere around that, and then I will probably, I don't know, cut some this way as well, and then we'll clamp it to this, and we'll start. I may even come in here with the fingers and just start it. Just put even just a gentle kink in it to start this bend on the inside or the outside, if you know what I mean. So just start that from say about here to here, wherever it's fairly straight, and then basically lay it over that and clamp it down with as many clamps as I can, and maybe, I don't know, screw it down or something, I don't know, we'll work that out, where we lay another board over top of it and clamp it down or something, and then we'll just start hammering it over. Right, so we're getting there with this. So obviously we need to trim this lip down, but you know, not too worried about that yet. And where shape is pretty close. Obviously it needs some tweaking, and you probably have to do, might have to just heaten this and soften this, like these corners, it's awkward. Might have to just even put it back over this and just hammer it back on here a little bit, you know, later on or something like that, just to dial it in a bit better. You know, it's just a matter of playing with it, really. But I might have to, you know, just heat it and then hammer it over a little bit. But might have to take a bit of excess material off here too first. Again, might have just to trim this back a little bit so we can. So this will form a bit better, but easier, you know, less material to move out here, if you know what I mean. But we have got a reasonable upstand around there, so we have to be careful that we don't cut it down too far. But yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, like I'm not too worried about this hole out here. We can, you know, it doesn't have to be there. I was prepared to frickin' put a screw through it if I had to. I didn't want to, but if I had to, just to get it to hold in place. So we're getting there. So I think we'll get it a little bit close before we start cutting this piece out. And I might, before I do, what I might do is sit this on the edge of this bench here somewhere, or here somewhere, and I'll trace that line around there, or I might grab the other piece of that board. I might grab the other piece of that I cut it off and clamp this on and and get a good mark around there so I can, when I get this lined up and start taking it in, I know it's in the right place, and we'll do a few measurements and whatever before we do that as well. Right, so I've had a few interruptions this morning, but anyway, we're just back to this in, just starting to tack that in, we'll flip it over and then we'll start cleaning up the other side, and then we'll do a lot of clean up on this one, run it through the English wheel a little bit. I'll probably Scotch-Brite this, just because it's got a few dents and ripples and whatever and stuff in it. We'll just clean up a reasonable amount, and we'll just roll it through so we can just get rid of a few of these dents out of it for them, make it a bit tidier. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with this one, and then we'll start on that. I've got the door back on the little marina. Just trying to get that sorted, and I just had an old guy that must be a friend of somebody's that knew who I was and knew Dad and whatever. Just had a late model Ford that's had a scrape in the front bumper. Come in and just want me to organise to get it touched up. So you know, just messaged my paint guy to see whether I've got enough info for the paint code, because I'm just, since it's such a late model car, I'm not used to the frickin' ID tags on them. Because I don't know, whatever it is, it's be like a 2020 or 21 or 22 or something like that, late model Ford. So it's just somebody's come on the front bumper and below the headlight, and it's had a just light little rub graze, and it's just knocked some paint off it. So I'll probably just have to give it a scuff and blend in a bit of primer, and then just colour it up, and then I'll just reflex some clear, basically, and just give it a quick wee buff. Like it should be, like, I don't know, it'll be, by the time I sort of do it, it won't be terribly many hours in it, but by the time you get through the stages, you know, it'll be, I don't know, the best part of a day, off and on, if you know what I mean. I would imagine to sort it. Shouldn't be too big a job, you know. Mainly, the rest of it would be probably taping the bastard out. So it doesn't get covered in frickin' paint, but that's the worst thing with some of those little jobs, you know. You get a frickin' mask the whole bloody thing out to paint it. But it'll be probably next week or something like that, I don't know. We'll see how all that goes. Let's turn this over again. We'll start having a bit more of a clean up here. We'll get this buzzed in a bit better. I just want to go over this and hammer and dolly this and just see if we can get some of these marks and stuff out of it. And just give it a quick go over. Where's the one with the Scotch borders on it? Doesn't matter at the moment, but oh yeah, there it is. So with that cleaned up, I'll run it through the wheel, and yeah, straighten her up and see if we can just, you know, just get some of those dents out of it. Right, when I cleaned this up, I found a few more holes in here. There's a few more pinholes through here, so I'm just putting a patch in here as well. I might have to do a little bit, just a little bit of shrinking, just with widening these patches in, instead of just widening down through here like I did with this. It's got a bit of a warp in it, unfortunately. Like I've tried to call it as I've gone, but it's done it both places. Yeah, that's what it is. So I might just have to get the oxyacetylene out and just do a couple of little heat shrinks and then just run it back through the English wheel again. Right, I'm just back at this panel here sorted. Noticed a couple of pinholes, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a quick DA anyway, get it cleaned up, do the inside as well, and get it half prepped, and then I'll just zap up a couple of little pinholes in it. I was just actually talking to the guy with the 52 Giotto that I've been frickin' trying to get, but this last job was just, fuck that. Because the guy said, oh, are you still interested? And I said, yeah, I am, but I said, I just, at the fucking moment, I've had too many setbacks with money. So, yeah, I just said sell it. He's got some other stuff there, so maybe, yeah, I don't know, in a few months' time, if I can get some frickin' scratch together, you know, without impeding any other stuff. I know he's got a 55 Kingsway there, and I think he's got some, I think he might have a Dodge truck or a Fargo truck or something like that. That might be called shop truck. Maybe I could build a shop truck instead. And have something that I can drive to work, maybe pick up a, I don't know, like a Toyota or like Hilux, like a two-wheel drive Hilux from the 90s or something like that, that I can transplant the body, like swap bodies, you know, do a body sort of type thing on it. Or something like that, maybe even a, much as I'd like to say, I don't like to say it, like maybe even a GM, like Holden Ute chassis or something like that. Like I'd like to keep it frickin' Mopar, but we'll just fucking have to see what happens. But very frustrating. I just, as much as I want to do it, I've got to give this guy back. quite a chunk of change. So yeah, it's fucked me for the meanwhile. Like for at least for the next month. Yeah, like it's going to take me probably 2 or 3 months just to recover from this, unless I can get some serious work in, and I just put in some fucking serious hours. You know, if I put in 60 hours a week or something like that, and even if you get missus here for, now once we get a bit more shit in here, like get in here for 3 or 4 hours a day just to bump that work out faster. You know, obviously I'll have to pay her too, but you know, like if I can get the work out faster and get the turnover in quicker, yeah, we'll come right. But because I really need to replace that too. Like I wouldn't say it's on its last legs, but it's getting. It's done 360,000 Ks. You know, it's still running all right, but it's starting to get a few quirks. So yeah, I'd like to replace it, even if it was with something older. Like if I had something even old, even if it was older and simpler. Less freaking shit, like electronic bullshit. That's where maybe like a Toyota Hilux Ute with a I don't know, like a Dodge body on it, or Fargo body or something. I don't know, just you know, something like that might be maybe better suited for what I'm doing. I don't know. We'll just see. Like that's freaking handy because it just goes so far on fuel. It's a pain in the ass. It's really good for that situation too. But it'd be actually, in some ways, be nice to get away from the as much as diesel's good on fuel. There's like other fucking hang-ups with it here. Like you got to pay road tax all the time, which is a fucking pain in the ass too. So you know, as much as it's good because it'll do freaking 1100 Ks to a tank fuel. You know, if I can get and the petrol's only, or the fuel's only half as, well, it's not half the cost, but it's a damn sight cheaper than regular petrol, gasoline, what do you want to fucking call it? Like it's quite a bit cheaper than that, but you still got to pay road tax on top of it. It's easier on the wallet at the time, but yeah, you still got to pay that fucking road tax. You know, whenever you run out of Ks, you know, normally buy about 10,000 Ks at a time. You can buy less, obviously, or more, but I normally buy 10,000 Ks at a time, and it's just, they can get pricey too. It's basically, well, it's not quite $1,000, but it's almost $1,000 every time you fucking go getting down to 10,000 Ks, and it's fucking pain in the ass. The system sucks, to be honest. I'd rather pay slightly more at the pump and fuck that shit off, but they do it for the trucks as well, which is a pain. But you know, I don't know. It's a pain in the ass system. It'd be better off if it was just put into the fuel. But because the trucks are bigger and heavier, maybe they could just do us offset tax for their weight. Whereas, you know, it's a fucked up situation. But anyway, yeah. So I think I'm going to pull the pin on that. It pisses me off. It was a fucking such a good buy, but it's just one fucking thing after another. It just hasn't let me get there. Unfortunately, it's either I kick the missus and the kids out and just feed myself. That would be simpler. I'd save some money quick then. Anyway, we'll catch you later on. I'm struggling. I can't get this bend short enough into here. This length here, I can't get that short enough. Just with the way I was trying to hold it and whatever, it's too far down. It's like about that too high at that end. It's pretty good at this end, like it's within, margin of error. You'll get away with it. But yeah, at that end, it's quite a bit higher. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I'm just trying to work out a way. If I thought maybe I might have better pull this in tight against this bit of angle line and then try and pull it into it, but that's not going to work. This tube isn't strong enough. It's just flexing. Yeah, I'm just not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm half tempted to frickin' cut a quarter out of here and just slice it where I want it and fucking weld it on and join it. I really need like a decent width slip roller. I need like a 4-foot slip roller. That's only 2. Unfortunately, yeah, it's a shame I never got that big one. We didn't miss out on it. It would have been perfect for doing this sort of stuff. But yeah, pain. I just can't get it to do what I want. Unfortunately, now that it's already bent, it's fighting me worse, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know whether I can maybe just cut a slice out of that freaking bit of exhaust, because it's the same thickness, and just weld it on and then weld another piece on. It's a pain in the ass to have to do that, but if I have to do a wall, but it's because it's 1.6, so it's that bit stronger. Being a running board and like a balance all-in-one. Yeah, it just makes life a little bit awkward with the gear I've got. Call that a win. Might just see if I can maybe roll it through the English wheel again and just see if I can knock a couple of these old beams out a little bit better. But yeah, I'll call that a win. We'll call that a win. That was fun. You probably should have done that for a start off. Yeah, probably should have done that for a start off. I did think about doing that, but it's such stiff stuff being 1.6, but it's pretty close. It's close enough. What I'll try and do is I might tighten up the English wheel, see if we can flatten these couple of bits off. Worst comes to worst, we'll just hammer it out a little bit. It's not too bad. But what I've done is I'd shift this bend up. I miscalculated that. I thought it was deeper. I thought this was a bit deeper, but it was really only, I don't know, about 15 mil, or a bit over half an inch. I think 16 mil's 5/8 sort of thing. So yeah, it's really all it was down there. So as long as I can get this to flatten out a bit better, when we make this new edge, which I might make shortly, I might make this piece now, the edge piece, before I do this bend. So if I copy this reasonably, as well as I can, out of some, I don't know, not quite sure what I'll make this out of yet. We'll just see. But we'll make this up, and then we will get this profile, and then we can get this shape, and then I'll make up one for the other end as well. Right. So I knew I might have been pushing, but yeah, it wasn't going to bend that. I thought maybe I might have got away with it slowly stretching, but nah, maybe if I'd used heat to get that. So I was like, no, pattern it is. So we made a pattern wherever the hell it is. No, it doesn't matter now. I just used it to, it's over here. I used it to draw on the edge of the board because I'll cut that out to hammer the edge over, just to make life a little bit easier. So cut that out. Well, I actually cut it out bigger first. I added and cut that out. So I'll have to trim this out. This is actually where I wish I had a beverly shear. Another one of the tools on the list, you know, an angle grinder with a cutting disc works. So, but like a beverly shear would be handy because it'd be good for doing this sort of shit. But it is what it is. So I'll cut those out. I need one for each end of both, obviously. So then I'll just trim around that piece of timber, and we'll use that to hammer this edge over, and then we can get it up against there. Actually, I should check this with bend before I do that finally. Where are we? The other end. Yeah, I think we can make that work. Might be too far away. By the time we fold the end over, like this doesn't come up over it anyway. I can always add a little bit at that end. Let's bring it up a little bit at the end. We're at it. A little bit more on here. Yeah. Let's add a little extra on there. Be fine. So yeah, we'll do that, and then once we get this bent, we can then do the final shaping for that, and put this on. Hopefully. Right, so I've got this reasonably shaped up. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to try and gather that up a bit more. It's freaking awkward, and I'm going to have to try and stretch that into the corner a bit better. So now, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do here, but we'll have to start marking this bend out here, and then obviously we'll have to start working out that end. We'll probably make that profile. Unfortunately, just none of them exist really. Oh, we'll do that. Does that one still exist on that end? No, this end's basically non-existent there. Let's have a look at the other one. I just can't remember. Alright, oh no, it does. So what we'll do, we might take a profile of that one, and we'll make that somehow. We'll take a quick profile of it anyway. We won't worry about the hook round, we'll just get and then we can better work out exactly where. I might as well drag it over here. And then we can, between these two lots of bits, we can work out, we'll start bending this. And I think once we get it to a certain point, we might have to go just maybe sit it on the chassis and just see where we're at before we make the other one, just in case well, it should be close. What do I do with the other piece there? So we'll do a bit of, might even just lay some tape on that one to get the profile, and then we can lay it on probably the bit of plastic cardboard, and then we can make our piece for the end. We'll have to hammer this. This is pretty solid, so we'll better hammer this into the corner a bit better, and we'll probably better hammer that over a bit better and whatever once we sort of get it bending. But yeah, I think we need to get this rough pattern somehow. Righty, so we've made a template for the other end. So I've had to do a couple of little adjustments in here. It just wasn't quite right, but now it's, I don't know if you can see that, it's almost spot on. So this is basically spot on with this angle, and it's close enough, like with a bit of hammer and doling around, and by the time we get these pieces properly made and the edges bent over and whatever, it'll be fine. So what I do now is, because I've got this template here, I'm going to mark on here where the vein starts, and obviously it ends here. So we'll probably end up trimming this off, and I think what I'll do is I'll get, as I hunt around, I've probably got some rod that I can wear on the edge of it, because this is just too big to bend over. It's a bummer. There's nobody here. I thought it might have been, but yeah. I did send a message, but I haven't heard back. But I just thought I'd pop around here on the off chance anyway. Yeah, we can't do too much more until I get that test fitted. I can do a couple of little tidy ups on that other back panel. There's a few pinholes in it that I can still see that I want to clean up. So yeah, well, hopefully. Hopefully in the next hour or two I might be able to pop around here even after tea or something like that and just double check it and see if it fits. At least then I can carry on tomorrow with the with everything else and start making the other one as well.